Stop taking probiotics. I know that's a controversial statement, but hear me out and I'll go through the reasoning for it. And this doesn't apply 100% of the time either. There's a small percentage of you that can and should be taking probiotics. So normally what happens, people go and randomly take a random strain or brand of probiotics because they've seen it advertised or they've heard someone else they know is taking it, and they're just throwing this thing in their body thinking it's going to help them. But the problem is you can create a much bigger problem with something called gut dysbiosis, which we'll get into in a little bit. So if you don't measure your microbiome through a stool test or anything else, you don't know what strains you've already got enough of or you need more of. But then there's also a problem if you go and measure your microbiome makeup by doing a stool test. If you haven't unloaded your toxic burden yet, your microbiome is changing every single day to try and combat all the different stuff that's going on. So many people are walking around with some of or all of these within them. They're dealing with Lyme disease, mold, parasites, different virus infections like chronic infections, bacteria, environmental toxins, heavy metals. We've got our glyphosates, all this kind of stuff. And so you might even do the right thing and go and get a stool test and say, see, I'm low in this strain or this strain of bacteria. I'm going to go and take that probiotic, but that's just a snapshot of that day and time. So really, what should we do? Well, first of all, we have to clear that toxic burden before you worry about a probiotic at all. So this might mean doing something like Cellcore, a great company out of Idaho. Their comprehensive protocol has all these different binders and parasite things that will kill a lot of those bugs and bind out a lot of those toxins. Now, it doesn't matter what protocol you use, but you've got to get all that stuff out first. Now, if you get your toxic burden down, which is hard to do, but with help, it's relatively simple. It just takes some time. Then if you wanted to, you could go and do a stool test. And then, and only then, if you have some major deficiencies, you could say, well, I'm going to take a probiotic now to improve that deficiency. I currently am taking some probiotics for that very reason. And some of my health clients I have on them as well, but certainly not everyone, because not everyone needs to be on it, or a lot of them, we're still clearing out that toxic burden. Now, even if you find there's some deficiencies, you're not chasing perfection. We're still trying to understand truly what happens in the microbiome. So there's no magic number where this, and this all need to be lined up. So again, it's really only dealing with major deficiencies that you would take a probiotic anyway, because like I mentioned at the start, we don't want to create gut dysbiosis. So there's all this talk about good bacteria and bad bacteria, but ultimately all that bacteria is in our gut for a reason. We have this like a rainforest ecosystem going on in there, and we want to give it the healthiest environment we can to survive and thrive and prosper. But if you feed too much of certain strains, you're going to get out of whack, out of equilibrium, out of balance, and then you can have all sorts of stomach issues, pain, bloating, gas, all the things that you don't want to have just because you were trying to do something that's healthy for you. Hey there, I just wanted to let you know as a thank you for watching my video, I wanted to send you my free guide on the 13 foods to boost your mood. So you can click in on the link in the description if you want to download that. There's so many people watching this video who are probably suffering with gut health issues, and sometimes even just changing the foods we eat can make all the difference in the world. So that's my free gift to you. Please grab it, take advantage of it. Anyway, back to the video. When else might you take a probiotic? Well, in my opinion, if you're on antibiotics or you're about to be on them, you should be taking multiple different probiotics every day so that you're getting as many different strains in as you can, because antibiotics are like a napalm bomb on that rainforest. They're going to blow it completely up. Then you could take them for 3 to 6 months after, but never just one strain. And if you are someone who's felt like, yeah, I want to take a probiotic every day, I feel better when I do, well, mix the strain up. Buy 2 or 3 different ones and just alternate each day on which one you have. So at least you're feeding the environment a little bit more change. So also, if you're on medications, that can wipe out a lot of gut bacteria as well as deplete you of a lot of vital minerals and other things. And that's another time where it might actually make sense to be taking some probiotics, but again, you've got to mix it up. But in my opinion, the best thing to do is give your body or your gut prebiotic. Prebiotics is like a blank canvas. It's food that all the bacteria will eat, and you're basically throwing the food into the pen and letting the bacteria eat the right amount that they're meant to eat. You'll stay in much more balance. So you can get a lot of that prebiotic from foods. I try and eat sauerkraut or some kind of fermented food every day for that reason. But I also like to take prebiotic supplement just to keep juicing that up, because I'm currently doing some toxin unloading myself and I want that prebiotic in there to help. Again, if you feel like you're just coming down with sickness, not even going to go to antibiotics, I don't think it's a bad idea to short term be doing a prebiotic and some probiotics to strengthen that up. So if you want prebiotic, By far, I think the best thing out on the market is this Pure HMO by Layer Origin. They also have an actual immunity stack, which they recommend with their red phenol powder, their apple skin powder, and then this. And what that's actually going to do is help your body create more Akkermansia, which is a very important bacteria we need in our stomach that most strains of probiotics are not giving you. So I like that method where you can take something to help it grow. If you are going to take a probiotic, there's some really good companies out there. This is the Therabiotic Complete by Claire Labs. I think they make great probiotics. Cellcore has a great product called CT Biotic, which is another great probiotic. But again, the ultimate thing I want you to take from this video is don't just go and haphazardly throw a probiotic into your body and hope for the best, because I've seen too many people become worse with their gut symptoms. They get a little bit better at the start, then they get worse because they're creating that massive dysbiosis, and that leads to all sorts of other issues like SIBO and all these other problems. So really, to me, in my opinion, we want to get as much prebiotic food as we can. You can supplement with a prebiotic supplement if it's good quality, and keep the probiotics for either when you're sick, when you've had antibiotics, if you're taking medication, or if you do a stool test to find out some major deficiencies, but only then would you do that after you've cleared out your toxic burden first. So with all of the health issues we face, to me, the first step is always clearing that toxic burden anyway. So if you've got questions about that one, you can either leave a comment on this video or watch some of my other videos where I talk about managing these different things. Parasites, toxins, heavy metals, Lyme disease, mold, all of these things. I'm building separate videos for them so that you can understand what they are, see if you have the symptoms that match, and then go and do something about it.